Have you ever watched someone walk away from a good relationship, completely convinced they could find something better, only to regret it months later? At first, it doesn't make much sense. If they believed they were making the right choice, why do so many people end up looking back? The answer has less to do with finding someone better, and more to do with how the human mind reacts to what it no longer has. Have you ever noticed that some people leave a relationship with absolute confidence, only to start questioning everything once it's over? It's easy to assume they simply made a mistake. But here's what most people miss. In the moment, they often genuinely believe the grass is greener somewhere else. When a relationship becomes familiar, our brains naturally pay less attention to what we already have. The little acts of kindness become expected. The comfort becomes ordinary. Even loyalty can start feeling invisible because it's always there. At the same time, everything outside the relationship is filled with possibility. New people seem exciting because their flaws haven't been discovered yet. Dating apps, social media, and endless options create the illusion that someone more attractive, more understanding, or more compatible is just one swipe away. This is where things get interesting. What people compare isn't reality versus reality. It's reality versus imagination. Imagine someone who starts talking to a coworker. The conversations are fun, there's no pressure, and every interaction feels effortless. Compared to the responsibilities, disagreements, and routines of a long-term relationship, that new connection feels refreshing. But they're comparing the highlight reel of one person to the full reality of another. Every relationship eventually includes misunderstandings, bad moods, stress, and compromise. New attraction simply hasn't lasted long enough for those parts to appear. The surprising part is that many people don't realize what they lost until the excitement wears off. Once the novelty fades, they begin noticing something they overlooked before. The person they left wasn't perfect, but they were consistent. They knew how to comfort them after a difficult day. They understood their habits without needing an explanation. They offered a sense of emotional safety that can't be measured during moments of excitement. And this is the mistake many people make. They confuse excitement with compatibility. Excitement is powerful, but it's temporary. Compatibility is quieter. It grows through trust, reliability, and shared experiences. Because it's less dramatic, it's often underestimated until it's gone. What happens next explains everything. After the breakup, reality slowly replaces fantasy. Dating becomes harder than expected. New people bring new problems. The endless options that once looked exciting begin to feel exhausting. Suddenly, the relationship they once saw as limiting starts looking surprisingly valuable. That's why some people reach out months later. Not always because they're trying to manipulate anyone, but because distance has changed their perspective. Losing something often reveals its value more clearly than having it ever could. Of course, regret doesn't always mean the relationship should start again. Sometimes both people have already changed. Sometimes too much trust has been broken. Realizing someone's value doesn't erase the consequences of leaving. The deeper lesson isn't about hoping someone comes back. It's about recognizing how easily the mind can mistake novelty for something better. What feels exciting today may simply be unfamiliar. And what feels ordinary may actually be something deeply meaningful that's been quietly taken for granted. The healthiest relationships aren't usually the ones that constantly create butterflies. They're the ones that continue creating peace, trust, and emotional safety long after the excitement settles. Sometimes the grass only looks greener because you're standing too far away to see the weeds. And once you finally get there, you realize the lawn you left behind was healthier than you ever noticed.